this right here, you bunch of prima donna ballerina mother.
Welcome everyone, I'm Jordan Sharp. As we roll along here a couple of weeks out of training camp for the NFL, it's time to start taking an updated look at some of these future odds. And even though in the last 6 to 8 weeks we haven't seen a whole lot of movement, there have been some movement between these NFL future odds. It's time to take an updated look at one of the teams that have been gaining some momentum all off season, and that's the San Francisco 49ers, who come in to win the Super Bowl this season at plus 650. Now, before about 4 or 5 months ago, right after the season ended and the Super Bowl ended, we saw the Seattle Seahawks as huge favorites to win the Super Bowl, once again with the Broncos right behind them, and then a mix of teams like the Packers, like the 49ers right behind them. But at plus 650, the 49ers have moved their way all the way up to being tied for second at bet 365, right behind the Seattle Seahawks and right next to the Denver Broncos to win the Super Bowl this season. Now, they have an excellent chance. They have huge depth on offense this season. Their defense should continue to be very, very good. Really all lies in the hands of Colin Kaepernick of whether or not he can get his team back to the Super Bowl and take that next step to indeed win it this time around. Now, their NFC price also somewhat valuable, I think, at 4-1 this season. Obviously, only behind the Seattle Seahawks to win the NFC this season, and in a much tougher division this season and a much tougher conference all around. It's going to be hard for the Seattle Seahawks to repeat after losing some of their players, and with San Francisco nipping at their heels, it does seem that to win the NFC, you're going to have to win at least 12 to 13 games again, get one of those top 2 seeds and get a bye in the first round in order to have a chance, because the NFC playoffs are going to be unforgiving this season as they were last year, and it's going to take at least a dozen wins, I think, to get a bye in this conference. But that's not to say that the San Francisco 49ers can't do it. It's just a fact of whether or not they're going to be ahead of Seattle in the end and not having to play in the wild card round like they did a year ago. The NFC West price for them are pretty close between these two teams. Right now, the Seattle Seahawks are sitting at plus 110, while the 49ers are at plus 130 right behind them. It's a pretty solid price, but not really one I'm getting too excited about as well. I think I'd rather take a little bit more of a step here and go with either their NFC or their Super Bowl price at plus 130. You can find better money line odds on either of these teams during the season, possibly, or some opponents of these teams if you peg them losing one night. But right now, plus 130, 49ers pretty fairly priced, but not a price I'm willing to jump at this current point in time. So that'll do it for your San Francisco 49ers futures update. Make sure you check out all my other NFL offseason articles as we head into training camp in a few weeks. But until then, I'm Jordan Sharp, and this has been another edition of the Sharp Pig.